Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For truck service.
On the lot.
He became steel resistant.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining us on this Hub Club panel. So this is where we invite a bunch of guests within the industry to come in and have a bit of a chat. So it's not always just me talking. We get some different views on things. And today we're going to be talking about some of our old equipment, some of our previous machines, what we thought about them, what modifications we made, why we sold them, why we upgraded. Just to dig deep into people's thoughts on why they did things, so that if anyone else is thinking about upgrading or buying a certain machine or something, they can sort of see what everybody else thought about it before they made any decisions. So I thank the bunch of guys that have joined me. So I've got Andrew from Sydney Rockwalls, Alex from ADM Civil, James from Precision Environmental, and Mitchell Morgan. How you going, guys?
Good, thank you.
Good.
That's it, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and share our screens, talk about the machine that's up on the screen. So we'll do one each. So we'll go around and do one each, and then we'll see if we can do a second round, depending on time, yeah? So who'd like to start? Don't all speak at once. Yeah.
I'll go.
All right, James, go.
No
Go,
worries.
James. All right.
So
Let's see how
I'll
this goes.
share this now and just get it up before I give a description. Just bear with me. Entire screen, screen 2.
Yeah,
All right. Has that come up?
Yes, it has.
Yep. So yeah, that was my first excavator I bought at about the time I first went out on my own full time. So the business, as I probably said in the previous podcast episode, used to be just a side gig while I was still employed, and then I went and worked for a mate's Earthworks and environmental contracting business as a team leader for a little bit while I built my own thing on the side, and then just stepped out. And so at about, I think it was just before end of financial year 2020, I had a bit of spare money and had a decent tax return, sold a ute, and then financed a different ute. So I had a bit of good cash flow there, and decided to, I thought we'll buy a mini excavator first and hook it up with a plant trailer and start from there. And so, yeah, this is my first one. That was a 2017 Bobcat E20, the little 2-tonner. I actually bought it from Clark Equipment in Dandenong, the Bobcat dealer. Got it with about 600 hours on it. Got them to put the thumb that you might see just there, even though it's got its hydraulic lines wrapped up around it because it's got the mulcher on the front. Got them to put that on there. So it came with the thumb and the bucket set, and I actually bought that for about, I think it was 27 plus the G. So I think that works out to be just a drop under 30. So I just had a muddy, a 300 and a 450, and then got a ripper for it, and then went to Titan Engineering down in Seaford and got a really nice gunmetal grey plant trailer for it. So that was my first kind of combo and setup. Yeah, 600 hours on it, so not overly high for a mini. It was in Clark Equipment's hire fleet, so it could have had a couple of sketchy operators on it, or maybe sat on a breaker for a bit or something like that, but it worked out to be, it was a really solid machine, actually. I'd worked on a lot of minis, but I'd never had a Bobcat mini, so that was the first experience with the Bobcat brand.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah. It looks good. What so what's that on there? Mulcher, is it, on the front?
Yeah, so that's a flail mower. That was sort of how I got into it. I bought that from Tom at Euro Mulchers in Warburton, and it's a little gear drive swinging hammer flail mower. That machine would just run it, but it would use everything the machine had to run it. But it's still got up there, I think, at about like 2,500 RPM or something like that on the rotor. So it would cut through small trees and blackberries pretty easy. So it was a good start to get into doing more vegetation work through the business. So it was, I think that a mulcher weighed about 180 kilos. So it was right on the safe working limit of what the machine would handle over the side at full extensions. So you had to be a bit careful where you went because you could sink it pretty easily and it'd get a bit tippy, but didn't run it too badly. The only thing you had to watch out for was wearing good PPE with it and putting the door down if you were doing a lot of woody stuff, because if you weren't careful, you get smacked in the face with debris pretty easily. So that was the tough thing about having an open cab. But yeah, that machine was a good start. Did a lot of sort of just material handling and small earthworks and landscaping work, and then obviously ran the mulcher and everything as well. So yeah, I never really had there were things I definitely didn't like about the machine, but also a lot of things I did like, and it didn't really have like that was probably the most dependable machine I've had so far in terms of for what I paid, how many hours were on it, and what issues cropped up, which were pretty much not a lot. It was a pretty solid little unit.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Anyone got any questions for him?
Yeah, I've got one. Does that flail mower run a case drain?
No case drain, just runs a little gear motor. So it's like I think they call it a direct drive one. So no case drain to have to muck around with, which is good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. Oh, I've never seen one that small. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've driven a few mowers but only on big stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. That's a neat little thing you got there.
It was interesting because like a lot of the sort of rhetoric around forestry mulches and flail mowers on machines, for so long used to be, unless you've got like an 8-tonner or 12-tonner and above, don't even bother. And then, I thought that. I worked for a company that had 14-tonners with fixed tooth FAE forestry mulches on them, and it just happens. There you go. Yeah. And it just happens this guy Tom, that runs a company called Euro Mulches in East Warburton, sort of in the Yarra Ranges in Victoria, imports a couple of the other Italian brands, and he advertised, and I sort of called him up because I saw a sponsored Facebook ad and just said, "That's not a typo, is it? You can actually run one of these on a small machine." He said, "Yeah, for sure, absolutely," and was really, really good technically and didn't give me any sort of a sales pitch. So I went and met one of his former clients that had one on a little 2.5-ton Kubota and had a crack on it, and thought it was actually quite good. So I bought one from him, and that's sort of the rest is history. We've gone through, had a couple of machines now with his mulches on them, and so far so good. They're priced to a point where you'd be a little bit suspicious of the quality, like they're half the price of an FAE or a Fecon or a Shearex or any of those brands, and so I was a little bit suspicious. But we tried this one, and it was really dependable. The actual flail we sold to Charlie from Little Bear Earthworks. He bought that from me. But then I've got another one, obviously, on my next machine, or the next two machines, and all their stuff is just, they've all had very hard lives because of the conditions they run in, and it's been really good.
So gear drive, that's
nice.
like an auger, eh?
So what?
Like an auger type. So like the motor on that, like a gear drive, that's like an auger type setup, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I don't have a lot of experience with augers, but I'm guessing that would be, I'm assuming that's the same type of motor they would run.
Yeah. And what about, so that was like your first machine. What made you like change? So you haven't got that anymore, yeah?
No, I sold that to get my next one. Knowing what I know now, it would have been really convenient to keep that one on its trailer with the attachments. And then because of the way I've graduated in size, I've now, like after that, I had a 3.5-tonner, and then I've now got a 5-tonner. It would have been nice to have that because it's the mini size class that fits on a standard trailer. You can tow with your ute, takes the same, pins, centers and hitch dimensions as any other mini in that 1.7 to 2 ton range, and it would have been convenient to have that now, but I didn't know that better at the time, and so I just wanted to get the next step up and go a little bit bigger and get a truck as well, and I sort of wanted to have something with a cab because I was it wasn't so bad doing earthworks and small civil jobs or landscaping jobs that every time I ran the flail mower on that machine, I used to freak out just waiting for the day where I'd hit a wasp nest or something like that on an open cab machine, and that just always played on my mind. So the natural progression was to, go up and get a larger machine with a cab. So that's the only reason why I sold it, just to sort of progress and get something bigger. If I had my time again, I would definitely buy one of those again. That was the first Bobcat machine I'd ever owned and had a bit of experience with, and that thing never missed a beat. It was just awesome.
Yeah. No, nice. Very good. Do
you want to know the things I didn't like about it?
Yeah, go. I was going to say that. Yeah, what did you dislike? Yeah.
So, and it was a typical Bobcat thing on the older models. It's changed now on the latest series, but their auxiliary lines sit right up on top, beyond the dipper arm and actually on the boom. So for every single attachment you would buy, they'd come with a set of standard hydraulic hoses that were designed to fit on pretty much most other Japanese and European machines that had their couplers all the way down the dipper arm. So you'd always have to get new hydraulic hoses every time. That was incredibly annoying.
The ball
Especially-
ache.
Sorry?
Ball ache.
Yeah, absolutely.
Annoying.
And it wasn't that great at depressurizing either. So you'd find you'd always have to crack these nuts on the back just to push out that excess oil and relieve it of pressure. And then obviously if you wanted to run the thumb, I'd have to just, hook it back up. And if you were running the flower mower or something different, or you'd have to wrap the hoses up around that. So that was a bit annoying, but that was more a setup thing. I can't remember. I did have another thing. Oh, on those Bobcat E20s, there's no way to switch it from one-way flow or two-way flow on the auxiliary hydraulics. So from, grab mode to hammer mode. So I'm pretty certain it would just stay on two-way flow the whole time, which obviously meant you'd heat your hydraulic oil up a little bit in the hotter weather.
Oh, so there's no valve to change or anything. That's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
Whereas, and a lot of Bobcats are like that. Whereas like on my Hitachi now, obviously you just pop the cover off just under the cab door and there's just that valve nut to switch over. So yeah, that was, but apart from that, they were no auto idle either, but that's on a lot of small minis. So the no auto idle was a little bit annoying. But other than that, I think they're pretty small gripes considering what I got out the machine. It was pretty good.
Yeah. There you go. No, good. Thanks for sharing, man. Thank you. Would you
worries.
ever buy one again?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Same.
100%. Yeah, I probably would get an E20 if you're going to go on mini on the back of a trailer. They're quite stable. You got a fair bit of reach. They're quite a powerful little machine. I really liked it. And there's actually a surprising amount of floor space in the operator station there. Like it doesn't feel like when you get onto some minis and you feel like your knees are quite tucked up and there's no foot pedals to track with or anything. That's got good foot pedals and quite a bit of space. So if I was going to get another open cab machine, I'd definitely go that. But again, like if you had your choice, maybe for a mini, Cat's next gens, they have in cab models now, so that'd be something to consider. But if I was going to buy another open cab mini, I'd get another one of those for sure. I was really happy with it.
All right. Did you ever have to take the roof off that or not?
No, never,
No,
fortunately.
okay. Yeah.
I can't remember if they're difficult or not. I don't know if anyone else has got any experience with them, but I never had to take it off.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, no, good. Thanks for sharing, man. Thank you.
No worries, man.
Who wants to share
I'll go.
one of their photos or one of their machines?
I'll go if you want.
Who's next? Hey? Yeah, all right, cool. So we got Andrew now. All right, let's go. Andrew of Sydney Rockwalls. What do you got?
Yeah, this one. Let's have a look. You guys see that? Anyone see that?
Not yet. Oh, here we go. Wait. Yeah, here we go.
The old FD. Or FG.
Oh,
That's it. The old dinosaur. It used to get strong.
nice.
And the
Nice.
Cabelco. Solid.
Right. So that was my
Look
first
at
ever
that.
setup.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cabelco SK. So yeah, obviously being in the game, operated machines. From the old man, he always had open cabs, and I swore when I started I would never buy an open cab because of the weather conditions. So yeah, we went straight out the gate and got an enclosed cab. Yeah, Cabelco used to run the auger on it. Used to do a lot of concrete prep.
Oh, yes. You would have done so what? A lot of like pier
Yeah, I used to
holes and
pier for
stuff,
a lot
yeah?
of concreters. So
All the board piers. Nice. And what did you like about that? What did you find was really good on it?
so I had good digging power, fantastic reach. The cab was nice. Plenty of view, like you had heaps of view. You weren't really obstructed with anything. It was good on fuel. That's about it, really.
Nice. Is that
Yes, I had
tinted?
it
Did you
tinted,
tint the
yes.
windows on that? Yeah.
How'd
you
good.
go? How'd
I
you
used to
find
do a
that?
little bit of nighttime work. I used to get a bit of reflection. I think in them, I don't know if you could. Yeah, I think you could dial down the dash now, like the light. It's bright, obviously, over nighttime. Yeah, I don't think I ever tinted.
Yeah. So, because I know Mitchell just got his windows tinted on his machine. How are you finding that, man?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't have an issue working in the dark. I've done quite a few jobs at night, and yeah, I haven't had an issue with it.
That's ceramic stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Have you got
good
like
LED lights. Yeah, ceramic 5%.
Yeah, this was tinted before that ceramic stuff, I'm pretty sure. This was back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, righto.
So, what you guys reckon the ceramic makes a big difference, huh?
I'm not too sure. I haven't had much dealing.
Right.
I
I've
haven't
heard it.
really.
I've heard it like really just knocks out the the
Yeah,
heat.
right.
What's that? Say again. I thought Mitchell was going to say something then. Yeah. All right. Cool.
From
All
what
right.
I
Yeah.
found,
Well. Yeah. What else, man? So Andrew, so you're saying, yeah.
from what I found when
Go
I
ahead.
was getting quotes to get mine tinted, it was about $400 cheaper to go with just normal tint over the ceramic. It was fair, but yeah, more expensive to get ceramic, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. I wonder why. So what? The ceramic, inside the tint, whatever, what reflects the sun better or something? Is it, or
I'm not 100%.
I'm not too sure, but
does anyone know?
It's supposed to knock out a lot of heat. Like I've spoken to Jared from Marshall Contracting. He swears by it. He said, mate, it just like you don't have to run your aircon as much on a 40-degree day as what you normally would. It just really helps. Just another step to knock out the heat, I guess, because ceramic just doesn't heat up like other materials. So I guess that's why they do it. He even got on his top window, just clear ceramic, and he reckons the same. It just knocks out a heap of heat. Like it's not he said it's considerably different. I'm not a window expert, but that's what he's told me.
There you go, man.
But it is
There you go.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What about Andrew? Yeah, you want to tell us a bit more? So, what didn't you like? Is there anything that you didn't like about the SK?
Shit. It's been a long time since I've had that one. Nothing real. Oh, probably the AC vents. They have upped their game now. I think there's only there was only 2 in that machine, and they were down the bottom next to the screen. So pretty much I don't know if you can see the cursor, but somewhere there. So you had nothing behind your back. So when you were drilling all day in summer, the heat from the back window and from the side, from the hydraulic pump and all that, you usually just pump it into the cab. And yeah, the AC used to be flat chat trying to keep up.
Yeah. I had a Cabelco SK50, the ones that came out before this, and I remember it used to get hot, and I used to have to actually the motor and that would get hot. I had to have to actually open the compartment at the back for the engine cover and open it and let it sort of stay open while I was working to let the heat sort of escape, especially on really hot days.
That.
So I don't know if this had the same issue or not.
I had to do that twice with this machine. I think two occasions that are really hot days, and we were drilling. Yeah, I had a couple of big jobs, and we were drilling most of the day. And yeah, it got a bit hot that I had to open the back door at the back just to let it cool down.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a common problem, man. Is that would have had the Yanmar
yes.
motor? Is that right? Yeah. I wonder if it's something to do with that. All right. Anyway, no, good. Yeah, very good, man. What about? So, why did you sell that one? Yeah, what made you end up selling that?
I sold that to move on to the 14 that I got now. Obviously, changed direction, started doing the rock walls and all that sort of stuff. So the 5-tonner was really not much use to me at that time. And obviously, being a one-man show, you can't operate 2 machines at once. So yeah, it was time to move it on.
Yeah,
man.
So you got the Takeuchi now, yeah? Yeah. All right, good, man, good. All right, so yeah, last question, would you ever buy one again, you reckon?
Oh, so I'm starting to bleed red and grey now, so yeah, green would probably be your second choice, but yeah, Takeuchi all the way, mate.
Takeuchi. He's a Takeuchi man, he's converted.
Love it.
Cool. All right, no worries, man. No worries.
That's
Good, thank you. Thanks for sharing it, man. All right. What else? Who else is next then? Who wants to have a shot here? Alex, Mitchell, what do you guys reckon?
Can have a crack.
All right.
If you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's looking at your face now. Yeah.
Okay. So that's my first Digga.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And it's my current Digga. About to upgrade at the end of the year, but it's a Cat 305.5E series, the first series. I got it from Romba. When I first went out on my own, I cut a deal with them to drop my rates to, and then they sold me at less than, it's part of building this park that I built for them. I built with them, I should say. They sold me this excavator because I was dying to go on my own, and he knew that, and he said, "Oh, look, I've got this park I need to build. I've got no one I know who can build it. Would you be interested?" I said, "Yeah, but like I really want to go and buy a digger." And he said, "Oh, well, why don't you drop your rate, come work subby to me, and I'll sell you the machine." So I got this for 30, including GST, which was it had 3,600 hours, 3,700 hours, and it's got a tilt hitch. It's a little bit bashed in. He had a lot of guys learning how to operate on it, so it was a little bit bashed around and whatnot. I've probably spent about 10 grand on it, just fixing little bits here and there. It's not a Ferrari, but it does the job. I love it. I love that it doesn't have foot pedals. I know some people love foot pedals for attachments and boom slewing, but I love having it on the joystick. I just love having everything on my hands. I feel like it just operates really well. I love how it feels. It tracks really well. Like, it is hard to what's something I don't love about it is, you got to basically put your feet to the ground to get it to move. Like it's not like a 14 or something, or a 15 or a 30 where you just, it's nice and light on the pedals. These are a bit harder to push, but it's really good. I got a little feel with it. It can doze. Well, I've dozed way harder than I should on it. Couple of things I don't like. I used to drive this machine a lot with other companies, and up the top here, I'll find another photo. So this is it again, and up here, this little hole, I've snapped that on 2 other 305s. Mine's got a standard stick, and I snapped it on longer stick diggers. So I don't know why a lot of machines will put a hole up here on the top of their dipper arm, because like you don't need to save weight, just make it stronger and solid, because this is where I fractured 2 of those, and I've seen other people fracture them before on the same machine. I'm always real careful with how I do things, and I do always check that because I have seen them crack and snap before. Con works, which is great. It's nice. It's pretty comfy. It's it's a 12-year-old machine now, but it is it's served me really well. It's got 5,700 hours now, so it's starting to get up there. But it's just got to see me out to the end of the year, and then I've got the new digger, and that'll see me out from now for a few more years. So yeah, it's been a great digger. I really love it. It's going to be sad to see it go, but like I would love to keep it. Like it's been a really good digger, but it's just had its time. Yeah, it's a 2013. Of all the machines that were back in 2013, this is probably the only one that had a digital dash on it. The Series 2 had a reverse camera incorporated into that. Like they were a pretty nifty bit of gear for what they were. Machines nowadays, all that stuff's pretty common. It was definitely ahead of its time back in the day. But it's one of those things. Technology moves so quick. This is the first day I operated the machine and saw it, and I was sort of over the moon. But yeah, it was that was 3 years ago, and I'm about to buy my first ever brand new machine. So the order's been I placed the order last week, and it's coming in end of November, start of December.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
so the only reason you're really sort of moving on from it is what, just to upgrade it, and you've gone a similar way anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've got the Cat 306. I want to be able to lay sandstone, 2-meter sandstone logs, which weigh 1.2, 1.3 ton. My machine won't do it. Like I can lift one. You struggle to get it 0.5 meter off the ground. But the 306s will. I've laid them 4 high with them, but they're just so much more grunty. I'm getting a bigger profile bucket on them. It's going to allow me to, the direction I want to take my business into, really specializing in doing the parks and everything. I want to go the machine control and then go down that path. Really, that's really going to be what's going to help my business out, and just being able to do, like, I don't need a zero swing machine. The lifters aren't. I prefer not to have that because I do have the room on all these jobs that I do. And if it gets tight, I'll probably just get a 1.7. That'll probably be my next machine I'll get after that. But yeah, it's been a, you know, this is not a zero swing. It's got a counterweight on the bottom. Definitely go counterweight with any 5-ton machine. You know, if you need to have a zero swing, that's fair enough. But if you don't, I'll go counterweight every time. That's my personal opinion. You know, if you're doing tight access stuff, of course, zero swing all the way. But if you're not doing that work all the time, just make the
Yeah.
digger work easier for you.
Yeah, true, man.
Yeah.
True. Good.
Get every bit
Good.
of oomph out of the machine you can. So
No, that's it. And you'd buy one. Would you ever buy one? I suppose it's a silly question because you sort of got one, even though it's only a touch bigger, but it's basically the same thing, yeah.
So when this, like, so I've been driving machines since like 2006. I started driving like little dingoes, and first drove bobcats and excavators back in like 2008-ish. And when this machine came out, I was just obsessed with it because the little digital dash, it was just so, it felt like it was so far ahead of the time. It's ancient now compared to like the new cats and all these new fancy machines that are out. But I absolutely, like, it was, just having, no foot pedal for the boom slew was like, wow, that's a huge step in, everything's on your hands. It's, no fatigue, and it's, having the spring seat, like it's, I was obsessed with it. I love this machine, and it's like, this will always be like, you've got your Tirana.
Yeah.
It's never going to be as comfortable as your Ute, but it's always going to have a spot in
It's
your
got
heart.
that. It has, yeah.
Yeah, and this is my, it's silly to compare it to a Tirana, but this is my, like, I don't know, vintage first machine that I've ever been obsessed with. So I used to be into cars heaps, and I'm not. This is my
Yeah.
this
No,
is my
good.
thing. But yeah, if I ever had, in 10 years, if I ever have the chance to buy another one, I'd love to, because I just love trimming with them. I've done everything on these machines.
Yeah.
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 Well, not everything, but I've done a lot, and I love trimming with
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I definitely have another one. So if anyone wants to buy it, like, it'll be for sale at the end of the year.
There you go.
That's not a sales pitch, but
Yeah.
it is a great machine. So yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I sat in the 305 the other day, and you're right. I tried to track with my legs, and it was like hard to push.
Yeah.
It was hard to hold your feet there. It's like you had a lot of pressure. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Get those legs burning.
That's the one, man. That's the
Okay.
one. But it did. When I was tracking, and I took a little video. I haven't posted it yet. Of me tracking and using the thumb control to swing the boom, and it didn't affect the speed. It just kept going. It kept tracking and moving the boom at the same time. Whereas my other machines, if you did that, it just go and just start like dying. It wouldn't like doing two things at once.
What's cool is now the 306, you've got the sticks here, so you set it up, press a button, and then you just track with your joystick, and then you've got cruise control. So if you got to go across the site, just hold your joystick forward in stick steer, and then you can play on your phone, do whatever you want, and you move it. So
there you go.
I shouldn't say play on your phone, but if you're doing something like mulching or whatever, like using a forestry motion, for example, that's what they all say. You can use them. They can just set it and then just slowly track along while you're chewing away.
Yeah.
I reckon that's one of the big reasons why I'd look at a next gen for the next machine, actually.
Yeah.
Because of that, the 60 is awesome, especially for trimming up driveways and things with the blade. And plus, also, they've got pretty good auxiliary hydraulic specs as well. So, yeah, definitely a good choice.
Yeah, I was looking at a 309, but it was 52,000 more than the 306. And then you could spend an extra 10 and get into a 313. I was like, oh, like I'd love to have that, still have the boom slew with the 309, because the 309's got the high flow and the larger undercarriage, but you spend an extra 10 grand and you're in that next size up again. That was and 52,000 above the 306. I was like, I can't do it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'd love to one day.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your story, man. Thank you. All right. So who we got? We got Mitchell left, man, and myself, I suppose. But Mitchell. So Mitchell sent me some photos. Let me, because he's on his phone as well. So what I'll do, let me figure
We'll
out
start
this
with the
one
Digga.
second, and we'll get Mitchell's one up. You want to start with which one do you want?
The
The Digger?
New Holland Digga.
Hey, did you know that Earthworks Hub is more than just a podcast? On our website, you can advertise your business in the directory, see the latest news, and get discounts from our partners. You can also become a member on our Patreon, where you'll enjoy podcasts with video, exclusive content, and behind the scenes, webinars, and chat with other members in the forums. For more info, go to www.earthworkshub.com.au.
Current one, yeah, it's a 2011 New Holland E35B. It had just over 3,000 hours when I bought it, and it's got nearly 5,200 on it now, and I've had it for almost 4 years. When I got it, it only come with the tilt bucket and trench bucket and a Norm Engineering 4-in-1. Absolutely love the 4-in-1. Yeah, it's brilliant machine for trimming and everything. Only thing I hate is that the auxiliary hydraulics are all on your foot pedal, so it does make it hard when you're trying to trim batters and everything with the tilt bucket. But it needs a little love at the moment. Got a couple of rams that are starting to have a slow weep. They've got to replace
on.
and all that. Yeah, it's nice for when you're augering
All
holes,
right.
but for trying to trim batters and
What else? So what have you got? Is that a tilting hitch or is that no tilting muddy?
standard
Is
hitch
it?
with tilt muddy. That muddy's flat wore out. I've since did a deal with another mate and traded it for a standard 1200, but
Yep. All right. So what do you actually like? Is there anything what sort of made you get that? Like what do you like about that machine?
sort of what was in my budget and size that I was looking for when I was looking, and it come with the Norm 4-in-1, which was definitely worth the money they are.
Yeah. Did you say you got a Norm 4-in-1 on there?
Yeah, it's
So your
600
bucket
wide.
can actually like open and close.
Yeah, identical to a 4-in-1 on a Norm 4-in-1 on a posi. I haven't got it in the photo there. I'll send
Jack's
you a
got one
photo
of
of it
those and
later.
he swears by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use
I don't
that
see many of them
majority of
around.
the time. Just wish it was
There you
wider
go,
because
man.
it's perfect for trimming with the big flat bottom on it.
What about I noticed that the tracks are really like short. You know what I mean? Like they're almost only the same size as the cabin. Does everyone else see that? They look like they're really short. Well, they're not very long
Yeah,
It's only
tracks.
3.5, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Is it 3.5?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've lifted
Yeah, there's a lot
600
of threes that
kilo
are about
pipes
that
with it
size. Yeah.
and never had a problem out over the side.
Would just be that we're used to looking at 5-tonners and large tracks.
And it hasn't got
Yeah, I
hay.
think so.
Yeah. I was sort of looking to upgrade it shortly, but I've had stuff come up where I need a bigger machine than that, so just gonna run it till I'm ready for the bigger one. I've ordered one, but
Yeah.
not
All right.
gonna
So what do you? So
spill the
you.
beans.
All right. All right. What about on this one? So you tinted the windows on it, obviously to make it a bit better for yourself
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, really like the dark tint.
Yeah, nice. And what is there that you don't like about it? I know you were saying something about the foot pedal before. What is there anything else that you really don't like?
It doesn't like doing any functions while you're tracking too well, but I've sort of learnt to deal with that at the moment. Especially boom up and crowd sort of really kills it when you're tracking.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Even my old Cabelco and that used to do that a little bit. It doesn't like doing two things at once.
That's
No.
not a sliding door, eh, Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I absolutely hate it. It rattles so bad when you're tracking. 10 out of 10, do not recommend buying
Can
one
you
with a
redo the
sliding
bearings
door.
on it?
No, I haven't done the bearings or the... No, it's not on bearings. It's on those arms that come out. I think
Oh,
it's
okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you got the little arms on there. Yeah, I know which ones.
Yeah.
Cool. What about, so what's making you change? What's making you upgrade or change the machine now?
Just a job I've landed for after I'm signed off with my apprenticeship. Needs a 14
What's your
instead of a
apprenticeship
smaller
in,
one.
mate?
4th-year Boilermaker.
What have you done your apprenticeship in, Mitchell?
Boilermaking.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, gotcha.
Are they?
Nice.
Are these the ones that are rebadged
Nice.
Cabelcos
Oh,
or
right, cool.
vice versa or however that was? Is that these models?
Yes. Yes. So I've got a mate that's got a Case CX36V, and it's
Yep.
identical to mine as well.
Yeah, that was that era when they had Case, Cabelco, and all the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Case and New Holland have always been a bit the same in a
Yeah.
good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do the same with tractors with their agricultural stuff as well. They almost,
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain they come out of the same factory.
Yeah, they
same
do.
skid steers, just painted different colours.
Yeah.
And their new diggers
Oh,
are all,
cool,
or
man.
their
Is there
new,
anything else you want to add before we finish up on this one?
nah, not really.
I'll stop sharing this one so I can see you guys again. Hang on. How do I go back? There we go. I'm back again. Can you guys see me all right?
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
all on.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, so what were you going to say? So something about the Case, how they're all similar or something, is it?
Yeah, their new ones, the new Case and New Hollands are your Rockomac
With-
machines
Oh,
now.
sorry, go Mitch.
Did you say
Yes.
Eurocomac, whatever they're called?
Yeah, your Rockomac have been bought out by C&H, which is Case New Holland.
Mm. There you
Yeah.
go. Awesome. All right. Anyone got any more questions before we move to the next one?
Let's party on.
Party on. All right, party on. All right, so whose turn is me? All right, here we go. All right, let me open up. I'll share my screen again. Here we go.
Yep.
I don't know. Pick one. Which one do you guys want me to talk about? Pick something
Your
on
first one, you're 20.
there. The first one,
mad
the
dog.
20.
Yes,
Fall
definitely.
to the wall going 20 tonne for
Yep.
your first machine.
All right, what have I got? I
Gutsiest
can't-
decision.
Oh man.
I love
All right,
it.
here we go. So that's my SK210. I think that's like a 2003 model, I think it was. First machine, I had no idea what I was doing. My wife said, when you're going into the shop, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just going to go have a look. And she goes, don't buy the first machine you see. And I was like, no worries. Come back home. And she's like, what happened? I said, yeah, I bought it. Yeah. So I bought myself a 20. The reasons behind that was I thought I was going to be doing a lot of civil work because a lot of my mates and cousins and that were in civil, so subdivisions and that. And they said, get yourself a 20. It's the best way. You'll just get put on a stockpile. It'll be easier to, you won't be doing too much fiddly stuff. To first start out, just get a 20 and jump on. And trust me, it'll be easier. Whether or not that was the right decision, I don't know. But I bought that. And then it was a good machine, man. Good learning curve. It already had a few hours on it. I can't remember, to be honest. It might have been maybe 3,000 hours on it or something. It had like a bit, or maybe even more. But back then I didn't know much about them, so I just bought it. I didn't even look at the hours. I just went in there, started the machine, moved the arm around. I was like, yeah, it's done, sold. So I bought it. It already had the window tint on there. That was annoying. That used to be like reflective. So if I had the door open, like in the picture, and somebody was walking past the door, or as I was working and turning, I'd see like that truck on my right hand side. It'd be reflecting on the opposite window. So I'd always think something was on the other side. So that was a bit annoying. What else? It was a good machine. It had a lot of movement in the tracks. I don't know if that was just over time, but like, if you're sorting rocks, after you sort and shake the bucket and stop, it would actually keep shaking for another couple of seconds. So it's like, it was a bit loose, yeah. So I don't know if that was just time or whatever. I had a few things. The first thing after I bought it, the grease bath ran dry, and it actually had no grease inside the slew motor in the bay, and it actually ran dry and and then the seals went, and then it actually let all the oil out of the swing motor, and then I cracked all the gears, so it cost me like 10 grand after about 2 months. So yeah, I sort of copped it a bit there. That was because, and I'll tell
We've
you
heard
why.
this
Where's
story.
that
You
other
went in the
picture? Let me
dam or
pull
they
up
went
this
in the
other
water.
picture. I've seen.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
yeah,
where.
that's it. Yeah.
Into
That's
the
where
retention basin or something.
This was in Clyde. I'll tell you where it was. That was a Winslow site in Clyde. They made me go into a dam. It went up to the screen. See the windscreen there? I was fully, and it got bogged in there. Then they had to get 2 dozers to drag me out. And then on top of that night, I got pulled out, and it was like 3:30, and he goes, "Oh, there's a float coming to move your machine. You're getting floated out today." tomorrow you're going to another job. So I had to stay till like 6 o'clock at night and clean all the tracks and everything, all the sludge out of that to try and like get it ready for a float. Crazy, man, what
Far
they
out.
used to do.
Then that nice drive through city and suburban traffic from Clyde all the way back up to your end of town too.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it went from Clyde to like Melton the next day. So it was, yeah. So I wasn't happy. I was there, and and then what happened was, because I didn't know, whenever you cover the slew motor with water gets in there and it washes it out, washes the grease bath out. So you're supposed to go and grease it all up again afterwards. But I didn't know that, so I kept operating. And then after a few days, it started like grinding, and I was like, something's not right. And then after a couple more grinds, just went, and then next minute the whole machine was just like swinging freely. So I blew cracked the swing motor on that. Yeah,
a frame off thing to separate the ring.
Yeah, so they had to. It was actually, I think, no, he did. It was the dial. What do you call it? A sundial, the dials, whatever it was called. It was
Sun
like
gear?
the sun gears. The sun gear went. So I think he managed to still do it with the cabin on. But then what happened was that got fixed, and then maybe like a year later, it happened again because something happened. The seals were gone, and we didn't realize the seals were slowly leaking, and it ran dry again, and then we had to take the actual cabin off, and do it properly.
I was
Put
going
the
to say
seals and that in.
that would have went back to
That
the
was a big
dealer,
job.
yeah, or like when.
No, they said to me it's not a warranty thing, because I had to because it was just wear and tear, and I reckon the seals would have went when I did this. So yeah, nothing got covered. So yeah, the joys. But that machine was a good starter. Something else that happened, the hydraulic pump went on it, and then when we fixed it, forever after that, you'd track with your feet, with the pedals, and you'd press them both at the same time, and it would always track to one side, like it always favoured one side. So if you just kept tracking, you'd probably end up in a massive circle. You just kept wanting to go left always. But it was a good machine, man. Good starting machine, and I did do a lot of sorting. I'm probably glad I didn't buy a brand new one to start with, because I put that thing through hell. We did demo jobs, broke so much rock with it, concrete, bashed out everything you could see, and it did get a little bit sloppy with in the end, like all the bushes and all that sort of went on it. But a good sort of machine for that age, anyway. I don't know if you can see the handrails. You can't see a good picture here, but those handrails on it, they're handrails. My brother-in-law used to do safety rails for houses. And when I got to the job site, they're like, you need to have safety rails on or you can't start. And I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. So I was like trying to get all these engineers to come out. No one could come out for weeks. And then so I called my brother-in-law and I'm like, bring me a couple of those handrails that they usually put around the gutter, around double-story houses. So we fabricated that ourselves on the spot. So then they let me in. Otherwise, they wouldn't let me work.
That
things we
is
do.
pretty funny.
Things we got to do, man. Things we got to do. So yeah, man.
That would have been one of those moments where it's like, oh, one day we'll look back on this and laugh, and now you can.
Yeah, now I can. Back then I was cursing, man. I was like, why did I come here? I can't get on site because of this, can't get on site because of that. And then I get on, then they send me in the dam, and I was like, are you serious? That killed me. So yeah, there you go, man. So that SK210, I think it was like 2003. Then I ended up buying, from that I traded up to a new SK210.
Yeah,
So
right.
that was nice. The new one was good. Would I ever get one again? Maybe. I don't know. You know what? Sometimes I wish I just kept that because it wasn't. I think I paid like 60 grand back then for that, 60 something, and then had to buy like some extra buckets and things for it. But it wasn't like a massive outlay. Like I wasn't doing too bad with it. And then as soon as I started buying new machines, then it's just like it's just never ending. Money just gets handed out left, right, center. So I don't know. Good machine anyway.
Yeah, I don't have any experience in the older ones, but I jumped in for a few days doing a dam renovation back in the day on, I think it was a 2013 model one, and it would have been pretty new at the time, so maybe a late 2012 build or something like that. And I really liked it. I thought it was a beautiful machine. I can't remember what dash that would be, 2012, 2013. So it was an SK210, say -6 or something, whatever it might be. But yeah, just a beautiful machine to be in. Really liked it.
I'll see if I can find my other one. Maybe it was like this. Where is it? If I open
Yeah, that looks like it.
this,
Oh,
was.
hello.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like 2013, 2015 maybe, or 16.
They look like the
Beautiful.
same year
Something like that.
models when mine was
Yeah,
out.
that was good though. Big dip. Yeah.
Not a
there you
fan of the
go.
rails on that one.
Yeah, well, on these ones, these are proper rails. Yeah. So yeah, no, they're good machines overall, man. Good machines. No, good. Well, I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Do you want to do a couple more, or what time? How are we going with time? I can't even see. Let me go back
Quarter to
in.
9.
Who's had more than one machine?
So 1:45. So yeah. Oh, what is it? Oh,
I've had a
a
couple.
few. Who's had more here?
Yeah, I've had a
No.
couple. I'm on the third.
Oh, all right, go ahead. You want to go do another one, James? Let's go. Let's have a
Yeah,
look.
I'll do this one. I'll do this one quickly.
Yeah, cool.
I've actually got the photo up. I'll just share it. This is actually, hang on a sec. This is my second machine. Lo and behold, I went another Bobcat again.
Nice.
So, yeah, this was oh God, what year was this one? I can't remember. I think it was another 2017. Because Clark Equipment and Dandenong were pretty good to us, and the rep there was really good to deal with. When the time came and we started doing just slightly bigger jobs and everything like that, I just said, look, next time you get a 3.5 tonner, maybe we'll look at something like that. And it just so happened that they had this one traded in on another 5 series. And this one came in, it had 2,500 hours on it. So proportionately still a lot more hours than even when I bought on my first machine. But he just said, look, this has come in, seems like a pretty straight machine. We'll hang on to it if you want to buy it from us. We're happy to keep it in the yard for a bit. And I sold the 2-tonner, and I'd had my tipper by then too, so I bought my first tipper. So I thought, yeah, why not? We'll pull the trigger on this one. It didn't actually come with the thumb that's on it. It's got a factory thumb. I got that fitted afterwards. This one was an angle blade model as well. 2,500 hours. Seemed like it had a reasonably hard life. Like it was still a pretty straight machine, but you could definitely tell that by the end of it, they'd sort of, given it a fair flogging a bit. Like, a few pins and bushes were a bit loose, and, you can see the parts in the cab where they've just let stuff sort of sit and fester there a little bit, but it did the job and picked it up for an all right price. Can't actually remember off the top of my head what it was. We ordered a few extra buckets and stuff with it too. So it came with a 1,200, because it didn't have any buckets actually. So it came with a 1,200. I bought it with a 1,200 muddy, a 600 GP, and a ripper to start off with. Bought a 5-finger grab, and then down the track, because I was sort of a bit sick of trying to juggle attachments as much, I thought, well, I liked having a thumb on the first one. So whenever they had a factory thumb to fit on, we'll put it on. So we got that put on and sold my other grab. It wasn't a bad machine. We put a fair few hours on it and put it through some pretty difficult jobs. It actually, like a lot of Bobcat machines, has pretty good auxiliary hydraulic pressure and flow. So the forestry mulcher I've currently got on my 5-tonner, we're able to run it on this one with a slightly smaller hydraulic motor on the mulcher. So we got a case drain and everything fitted to it, and it actually ran it pretty well. It did a good job. So that worked on a heap of just landscaping, earthworks jobs and private property cleanup jobs and desalting dams and things like that, and ran the forestry mulcher. What I liked about it, into the windows too, down the track, so that was probably a more recent photo of it. The cab on it was surprisingly spacious. Same thing as like the Cats, it had no foot pedal controls. For your auxiliaries, it was all just on the joystick. So your independent boom swing was on the joystick, which was nice. So the floor had plenty of space. Aircon worked beautifully. Cabin wasn't too noisy in it or anything, even though it did rattle a lot when you were tracking. But I think that's a 3 and 5 tonner trait, just to have a cab that shakes the crap out of you as it's tracking on a hard surface. The angle blade was just amazing for doing driveway renovations and everything. So you could go to a driveway that had a bit of good rock there, but may have just been a bit displaced, and you could get your GP bucket and time the driveway up and cultivate it, and then use your angle blade to pretty much just treat it like you're actually grading a road. So you just blow a windrow to one side and remix all the material and then redistribute it back over. Or if you wanted to form a crown up, you could put a big windrow in the center, then redistribute it. So apart from not having tilt on the blade, having at least 4 ways on the blade was pretty cool. So yeah, doing work like that was really good. yeah, it was a solid machine. Look, got us into the market of having a cab, which was handy. So at least, you know, when you're in crappy weather or doing sketchy jobs, you didn't feel quite as exposed. Funny story with it, actually. Put that first flour mower you saw from the 2-ton machine, we actually put that on that machine to start off with, and the machine just ran it so hard. It was like having, you know, like a 150 horsepower tractor powering a little 4-foot slasher, and it ran it really hard, and I was stoked. And I think I took it out on its second mulching job, and I reckon its second mulching job, I was mulching around a creek line and taking out all these reeds and stuff, and I was like, geez, there's a lot of bugs flying around the cab at the moment. What's going on? And I was always paranoid about hitting a wasp nest, and it just happens that on its second job, I ran the mulcher straight over a massive wasp nest and then tracked over the top of them. And luckily I had everything closed, and they were just fired up. Like, I just pretty much disturbed a whole nest and had them buzzing around. And I thought, geez, if I had my 2-tonner, I would have been dead. Like, they were so pretty much like you could watch him tapping at the window, just saying, come out, mate, we just want to talk, like, you know, that kind of thing. And I was just, oh, God, I'm glad I've got a cab now. So it was, it was a good step up. The only thing, buying it with that many hours on it, it was a little bit rough, but it got the job done. Had the long dipper on it too, so plenty of reach. Again, same gripe. The auxiliary hydraulic fittings were way up there, so everything you got, lines had to be run a lot longer, which was, again, a bit of a pain in the neck. And I got it to about 3,200 hours, I think. It did drop a sun gear in one of the final drives, which stopped me. Yeah, which was a bit of a pain in the butt. It's probably not the hardest job to do, but what happened at the time was, I think that was when was that? 3, and we were still having, because of COVID and everything and the disruption of the supply chain, we were still having big disruptions on parts, and we couldn't find a sun gear from any supplier for a bit, which stuffed things up. So I was hiring machines in the meantime almost every day, which is costing me a fortune. Like, one day's hire is like a month's worth of, you know, finance on a machine. And so that was a bit irritating. But otherwise, I mean, look, it ended up being a pretty good ending out of it anyway. Like, while we were getting it repaired, I had a person that was interested in it. So he said, oh, I'll buy it from you, less the cost of getting the final drive replaced. And so, yeah, we sold it to him that way, which worked out all right. But still a pretty solid machine.
Yeah.
If it came time for another 3.5 tonne, I would have get another one again. Considering what's available these days in other makes, I'd still consider it. But again, I'd probably look at something like a, you know, Cat NG or, you know, a Hitachi or something like that. But I don't know. I think Bobcat make it all right. They're a pretty good brand. Oh, the other gripe on it too was it's a Bobcat thing. On that white paint, it seems to flake off really easily and rust quite quickly underneath. I don't know if anyone here's ever dealt with like older Bobcat machines, and you always find those like rust patches on them, like just surface rust. That's annoying because, yeah, they tend to sort of go backwards in their looks pretty quickly.
Bobcat's character.
Yeah, I heard that too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a Bobcat thing.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, man. So then from there you went to your 5, is it? To the
I've got the 5-ton
yeah.
Hitachi now. And we went a Hitachi because it just came up as a clean second-hand machine. They had a good reputation and everything, so we thought we'd try something a little bit different. Bobcat were always pretty good to us, so they always get a look in if we're going to go get another machine quoted up because like they're pretty comparable in price and everything and come with good parts. So that had the Kubota engine, I think, as well. Yeah, like a lot of them do. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice. There you go. All right. What do you reckon, boys? Do we do one more? I think Mitchell's got a backhoe that he had. Do you want to go? Do you want us to talk about
nice.
that before we go? Do you want us to talk about the backhoe?
Faithful. Yeah.
Scoopla Diggler. Hang on, let me see if I can find that now. Let me see. Hang on. How did you just share that so quick, man? You clicked on it like a professional, man. I'm still here stuffing around.
Open the photo before you share your
man.
screen, Ivan.
Here we go. Open with photo. Yeah, that's what I should have done before. Hang on. What I might do, I'll go back to Riverside. Here we go. But I'll select the photo instead. Hang on.
So that was the
What are we
backhoe
looking
that
at?
was with the farm. It's a Cates 580K. I cut my teeth on that. That's what I
That's a
learned on
beaut.
from.
Hell yeah.
It'll 2-wheel drive with road tyres
Oh
on the
yeah,
back. The adventures you'd go on.
road tyres on the back.
Yeah, and most of our property's sand, so you go somewhere turn a bit sharp, you get bogged. But yeah,
Not with the diggler in the
it's
back though.
no, I've
Dig
crab
yourself
walked
out of
around
that.
with that a few times.
Imagine a tilt rotator on the back of that. Yeah.
And a mower.
Hand them over.
What would they say? Oh, even if you turned up to Winslow with one of
Wobble
them.
sticks.
Man. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't know. Nowadays, who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, I'll tell you what. So was that one of your first machines, was it?
That
Mitchell?
was what Dad had on the farm here, and what I learnt on. I never did any outside jobs on it.
Yeah.
So did you learn on backhoe controls?
Yes, but I cannot operate them to save my life now.
Yeah, you know what? I learned on backhoe controls in an excavator back when I first learnt. And I drove them like that for about 12 months. And now I can't, I'd never be able to do it again.
Yeah.
I can operate. I still go and use that one a little bit because Dad's brother bought it. And I can still hop on it and I'll operate it fine with wobble sticks. But another mate of mine that I go and do a bit of avian operating for, he's got a 580 Super R pilot control, and I cannot use it in backhoe pattern to save my life. Just makes you look like you've never
you wouldn't be the
operated a
only one,
machine
mate.
before.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. I reckon I had a similar experience. There was a, what was it, like a D-series Cat one that I had where I did my civil apprenticeship, and it had the wobble sticks at the back, and I learnt for a little while and started to get the hang of it, and then I jumped in a new E or F series Cat Backhoe, can't remember which one it was, and same thing with the pilot controls. I thought I'll jump back on backhoe pattern just to see if I can do it, and yeah, I struggled.
Yeah.
I struggled really bad.
I
I'd
wouldn't
be
be
in
able
big
to
trouble,
use
man.
my
Big
life.
trouble.
It's like going from joysticks in a posse to like going sticks.
Going hand
Yeah.
foot, yeah.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
even case control
Hey,
joysticks, which
settle
are
down.
cooked.
Yeah.
I can operate case,
Yeah.
Yeah.
H pattern and joystick on a posse, no trouble, but cannot do hand and foot.
Yeah. Yeah, the hand and foot, I look like a beginner. I said this once before. The landscapers said to me, because I was doing heaps of work in my Cat 239 for them, and they loved what I was doing. And then they're like, oh, with their little husky was sitting there, and they're like, oh, can you just load our little tipper with the husky? And then saves you tracking your Cat all the way down to load yourself, and then tracking back to spread it. So you leave the Cat there, just load it up with the husky, and then bring yourself some material. Like, yeah, no worries. And I was there for like an hour trying to learn how to use his husky, and the guy comes over and he goes, what are you doing? I said, I was still trying to load this truck. And he goes, hang on a minute, don't you know how to use these? I was like, no idea, man. I was trying to learn, smash it into the truck. I was doing all sorts of stuff. He was like, get out, go jump back in the Cat. So they're so different, man. So different. You can be so good on pilot controls, but then you jump in hand foot. It's so different.
Test ya.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll stop sharing that one. Now, let me see. Here we go. I'm back again. Yeah, that's all right. Well, we'll finish up now anyway. So I think we've done a bit of a round. Everyone had a bit of a chance to talk about their machines. Hopefully, our viewers will get some idea on decisions regarding buying stuff, decisions regarding upgrading or changing. So we just sort of gave everyone a bit of a idea of what our thought processes are when we're doing this sort of stuff. What do you guys think? Anything you guys want to add?
Thanks.
If anyone's looking for a Christmas present, I'll have a 305, sorry, ready to go. If anyone's looking for a Christmas present for someone.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe I'll have to
December.
get one.
Yeah.
I'll have to buy it. Yeah, I'll have to buy it just so I can do some training videos on it. There you go.
Mate, it's already got your sticker on the back.
Ready.
It's ready to
Set
go.
for the Earthworks
Look
hub,
at that.
Yeah.
That's it. Look at that.
I'll bring it down to you.
Yeah.
Bring it down to you.
Nice, man. Nice. I like it. You never know. No, I've got nowhere to put stuff, man. I'm living in the smallest little house nowadays. There's nothing here.
You got a driveway?
Yeah, well, we've been there, done that. My neighbours will kill me. You know, when I first moved back here, because I moved away for a bit, because I used to have so much stuff here. The whole street I live in a little court, so the whole street was taken over. And then when we moved, they'll probably rap that we moved. And then when we came back recently, the first question from my neighbours was like, have you still got all those machines and all that? And I was thinking, yeah, I know why you're asking. Thinking, here we go. He's going to
there's
bring all
always
this
Project
crap back.
Sporting we can
But
go to.
No, it's all gone. So, yeah. Yeah, true, man. Yeah, true. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, no, that's it, man. So, you never know. You never know. But good, yeah, if anyone does need a Cat 305, speak to ADM Civil, man. All right.
Not yet. Just another 5 months. It's 5 months away. So you're listening
You
to
got
this.
time. They've got time to organise their
Yeah,
finance.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Plenty of
All
time
right,
to
cool.
get onto a good broker.
Yeah, man, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. No, guys, thank you. I appreciate your time and for sharing your stories. Once again, if anyone else is interested in being a guest, hit me up. If you haven't already joined our Patreon, make sure you go and join and become a member. You get to see a lot more and you get a chance to do these sort of things. And also, yeah, make sure you share the shit out of Earthworks Hub on all the platforms. What have we got? Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Go on the website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, and yeah, you'll find a whole bunch of things on there that are helpful for anyone in the industry. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me, and everyone else, thanks for listening.
No worries. Thanks,
luck
Alden.
and furries.
All right, we'll see you everyone on the next one.
Yeah. For truck service on the lot.
He became steel resistant.